Were there any hard feelings between you and any of the other
I
boys?
think some, it developed over time. At first, Mike would come out and speak with me, and Steve. But then Steve started to get sort of resentful about it. Uh, he was asked by one interviewer, was there anything you would change about the experience if you could? And he said, yeah, crank up the voltage. Like he's wishing it had killed me on a state debt or something. I don't know. It wasn't funny to me, but
Wow.
so he quit coming out with us when the girls would say, "How come you didn't get out of the truck?" And then he tried to come up with alternate explanations. Okay, I mean, at first, every time he got a new girlfriend, he'd take a new polygraph test and prove it all over again. And then he started trying to say, well, it happened just the way we described it, but it was really the government and not aliens. Made it easier to cope with, I think. That was a sort of
Well, yeah, it's more of a down-to-earth
a
explanation.
way that he doesn't have to be afraid at night, kind of a thing. And one other thing that developed with Steve, I felt sorry for him, was that I was told by the other crewmen that he was one of the ones who was crying when the lawman came. Well, that was fine with Steve at first.
And he doesn't want that spread around.
And then his cousin, I think his uncle, one of the relatives, started teasing him about being a big crybaby. And so he got real angry about it. No, I wasn't crying. I never cried. I was strong the whole time. And so that was his big beef. He demanded that I have the book reprinted to take that out. I said, look,
Holy
Steve.
cow. Really?
I said, Steve, I wasn't there. I was just going by what the others told me.
Yeah.
Mike cried. He's not ashamed of that. He admits to that.
Yeah, that's very cry-worthy.
Yeah. I said, I cried. Mike cried. I don't know how many of the others, but he's not a crybaby. He was strong. He just doesn't know it.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to part 2 of the podcast. Steve, how have you been this week?
Oh, pretty good.
Good deal. Well, a lot's happened.
I gotta wake up every morning to see what I did the night before, though.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, no, and there's a lot that's happened in between videos. So as we both know and what we both saw, Travis had sat down with Bob Lazar, and he talked a little bit about you there. So we'll get into that a little bit and see exactly how you feel about that.
People have been talking about me my whole life. I'm the kind of person, once you meet me, you never forget.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. I found it really interesting that I think it was maybe like a day or two after we posted the video, and I think it's probably just a coincidence, but about a day or two after
I don't believe in coincidence.
I know, I have a hard time too, but this video came out a couple days after we posted the video, so really interesting with Travis sitting down with Bob Lazar. So Steve, I guess we'll just jump right into it and kind of ask you a few things about what Travis said. So you ready to go?
Yeah.
All righty, let's do this. So as we know, at one point when Travis, it's kind of funny too, when I was watching this, I know, Steve, you've seen it before, and we're going to put it up so people can see this as well. Bob seemed like he was almost not interested in what Travis was saying. He kind of just, he didn't seem too engaged about it, because Travis just seemed like he really had a lot to say. One of the things that Travis said that he said that you said at one point was crank up the voltage, when he got hit by that beam of light. Do you recall ever saying that?
Oh, yeah. I said that right in front of him.
Did you?
In the interview.
Yeah.
and it pissed him off. So that's true.
Yeah, he was yeah, in the interview he was like, "Does Steve want to see me dead?" And I'm like, "I don't know about that, but it's like I think maybe Travis was a little hurt by that." Seemed like. Um,
What can I say?
right. And then, what's
He's charged.
right. Well, and kind of interesting too that he brought up something. He said every time Steve gets a girlfriend, he takes a polygraph test. Is that something that that you've kind of gone through?
You know how much it costs to take a polygraph test?
How much does it cost?
It costs some money, put it that way.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And that's a lie. I fell in love with this beautiful blonde from Canada, and she flew from Canada to Wyoming, well, Salt Lake Airport, and well, before when we got together, we were just living together, and my first wife's son, my first wife told me before we got married that if she had a brown-eyed son, if the boy came out brown-eyed, it wasn't my kid. So the kid was born with brown eyes. Well, this kid kept hassling my wife before we got married, sending her all kinds of messages and telling him all kinds of bad things about me. And well, she wanted to know if it was true before she married me. So I took a polygraph test. She paid for it, and I passed it. I married her. So that's what that was all about.
Okay, so it's not like something
As far as girlfriends, why would I take a polygraph for just somebody that wants to sleep with me?
I know, right? No, I found that really.
You know how many polygraph tests that would be?
Yeah, I know exactly, and that's exactly what I thought. I was like, that would be quite a few polygraph tests. I mean, if they're paying for them, okay, but that's an expensive thing to go through every single time, I found that quite odd that he mentioned that. And, again, you see Bob Lazar just kind of like, oh, okay. He didn't seem too, engaged about it. And Travis was just, going on and on and on about it. And then the next thing that he brought up, I know, Steve, and I talked to you about this before. He said that, Steve believed that we were mind controlled and that I was mind controlled to get out of the truck. What do you got to say about that?
First thing, we didn't have enough time to get out of the truck. Mike didn't. Kenny was trying to get out, I'm pretty sure. That's when he took off,
Oh,
We didn't have a chance to get out. And people think we're the ones that took off. Mike's the one that was driving, So, and the mind control came from Alan Dallas. When Alan Dallas was alive, that's what he believed this was all about, right?
Okay.
So when I got back on board in 2010, 2011, excuse me, I would say it was mind controlled because I didn't believe Travis's story, so I went with Alan Dallas's story.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because that really clears things up because, Travis is kind of like, he's putting all of this on you. So it's really good that, that you can.
Everything I said about Fire in the Sky, it's been repeated. They've already said it once before.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
About the story and stuff.
Right.
So.
Well, and that's why,
And Alan Dallas, that's what he believed. He thought it was all mind control.
I remember you telling me this when I first interviewed you, years and years ago. I remember you mentioning this, so I can verify that, yeah, that's something that I know you said that Alan Dallas had kind of, had believed. The next thing, too, I thought was odd. He said, that Steve was crying, but everybody was crying. And, he wanted me to take that out of the book. And I know you said that you didn't cry. So what do you have to say, about that whole thing?
In 2012, I think it was 2012, 2013. When first few years I was out, we did a conference in Arizona. I think it was Tempe or Mesa, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, John Goulette was there, and John Goulette told him personally that I didn't cry. Mike made all this up. So John Goulette, oh yeah, by the way, I was told that if I ever mentioned John Goulette's name again on the air, that his son told me he's going to kick my butt.
I don't know why, we're not, it's like John, you and I both knew John, and he was a really good guy. I love John, we had a lot of good talks. I know you were really close with him too.
Well, John tried to tell Travis at that conference, Mike lied about this book,
Mm-hmm.
and I've already proved that part of the book is a lie.
Yeah.
The part where he says that we drew straws was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I've telling Travis for 30 years that was a lie until Paranormal Witness came out, and
Right.
The polygraph examiner told him they came after me. He said exactly what I've been telling Travis for 30 years, and he still wouldn't change the book.
Okay. So yeah, Steve, I know Travis at the end of the video, and I really wanted to get your take on this. Travis at the end of the video said, Steve is strong. He's stronger than what he thinks. So what do you think? What do you think of that? And that was a reference to, yeah.
You stabbed me in the back at the same time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it kind of seems like he's putting like a show on for the camera, but then behind the scenes, he's doing all this other stuff.
Yeah. People know me as Steve Pierce, Fire in the Sky, as the youngest one. If you knew me as Jeff Pierce, the truck driver, you would be surprised.
Yeah, and I do kind of know you as Jeff.
I've been known to drag people out of their truck and beat the hell out of them.
Right.
But
yeah.
it backfired a couple of times. This one time I was arguing with this guy on the CV, right? And tell me where your truck is. So I went over there and he beat the shit out of me.
Wow. It's a rough world, believe me. I know, it really is.
You know how truck drivers are.
I do. I sure do, Steve.
Dude, I've seen so many fights on a fuel island.
Oh yeah, I know it happens. It's one of those things where I've seen it, I've been in it, drive myself, and it's just it can be rough out there. A lot of times you just really have to, just try to just get in and get out, a lot of times because there are other people out there, man. People are crazy, so.
Hey, I almost got fired a couple times. After Sandy died, Sandy.
Yeah, I know Sandy. Yeah.
I was really in a bad mood driving truck, and I don't like forklift operators anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They act like they know how to do everything.
Right.
And I was telling this guy how I wanted my truck loaded because what people don't realize, the driver is responsible for everything in that truck.
Mm-hmm.
So the way you load it, is up to you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If you're overweight,
So
you got to go back.
Huh?
Yeah, if you're overweight on your load, then you got to go back and get it completely redone.
Yeah. So we got into it, and he kicked me off the property. They kicked the whole company out of the, my company was mad, boy. So I've been into it quite a few with forklift operators.
Oh yeah. I've seen it happen a couple times. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a rough world. It really is. But
But it's a good life. It was a good life.
Yeah, it's good money. It really is.
If I owe any woman out there a thank you, it'd be my third wife, because she, before I had a hard time reading and writing and stuff, and plus I couldn't talk, and the first two wives never marry sisters. But anyway, the first two wives would make fun of me because I couldn't read,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really smart, right? But the third one, she taught me how to read. She got me through truck driving school, and she got me where I never got 100 on my test, but I got 80s, and 80s is passing.
Right,
So,
right.
So if I owe any woman a thank you, it'd be her.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I had an awesome life driving truck.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's really good money. And I've been very fortunate to have a lot of things that I have, because of that, because of the business. So
it paid out all 6 of those women child support, that's for sure.
well, yeah, and you and I both know, we're in that business, and it can be rough at times, but you know what, it will set you up. It will get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
And I found it kind of odd though that Travis, at one point he's kind of dogging it, but then at the end he was kind of like, Steve's he's not a crybaby, he's a really strong person. So, but like you said, he says that on camera, but then he does something else, and it's just like I don't know what Travis's position is really.
I don't know. I haven't seen Travis since 2017. Was it 2018? We were at a conference in Utah, and that was the last time I saw him.
I was wondering, and my friend Devin.
And he said that I quit the conferences.
Yeah.
Didn't he say that?
I don't know if he did.
He blackballed me.
Yeah.
Nobody would touch me.
You told me that too when I had you on Marty's podcast years ago. He did say that. Yeah, I remember something about that, or at least you did tell me about that.
None of these people would touch me after that. Mm-hmm. They rather have Travis than me because he was the moneymaker.
Right. I remember you said that. Yeah, he kind of blackballed everybody. It's really interesting. Would you, if for some, weird way I was ever able to get Travis on here, would you sit there and talk to him? I think that's one question. Yeah, that
it'd have to be in person. It'd have to be in person.
It'd have to be in person. Yes. Yeah. So you wouldn't do like
I'd meet him in person, but I don't want to do it in Arizona.
Right.
And I wanted to do it around a lot of people.
Oh yeah, right.
I want to take a polygraph test. I've been telling him years, just take a polygraph test. I asked you one question, you asked me one question, and he won't not do it.
I know
it. Well, he says, well, I need to know the question. Okay, you can know the question 5 minutes before we get hooked up then.
Right. That's a really good thought, Steve. I didn't really think about that, but you're willing to take one, but Travis is not. It's like, what does that say? Yeah.
I haven't lied about anything.
Right. And this is why I wanted to get into this really quick too here. We're all here because Mike Rogers' daughter dropped that, that bombshell on everybody that, that Mike, on his deathbed confessed that it was all a hoax. So I'm going to put it up here so everybody can actually see it. So they know that you and I are not BSing anybody at all. Like, this is exactly what that Mike Rogers' daughter actually said. So I'm going to read that real quick, Steve.
Go ahead.
All right. So on Friday, February 6th, my father died. We held his funeral this past Sunday, February 28th, 2026, in Snowflake, Arizona. His name was Michael Howard Rogers. He was best known for his role as the crew captain in the movie Fire in the Sky, and of course his role in that UFO story. He went to the hospital in December and wasn't able to attend our family Christmas party in January 12th. He was released to hospice home care as he wished to die at home, surrounded by his family rather than in a medical facility. He called and asked me to hurry over, saying that he wished to speak to me about a matter of great importance. He said that I needed to get to him before they begin the morphine and other drugs. I immediately asked my manager if I could leave work and have the next day off, briefly explaining the situation. I hurried home. Then I remembered that I had a very important appointment at 3 p.m. to get some stitches out. I spent the hour gathering my things, including some good pens, and a notebook and a voice recorder. From where I live is a 3 hour drive up to the White Mountains of Arizona, where I came from and where my father lived all his life. This is a very long story. I will condense it down here for you, my Quora friends. Intending to tell the entire story sometime later, which we need to make note of that, and on other platforms, and possibly by some other means in the near future. I would love to have her on if I could, if she's willing to do that. She goes on to say, my father wished to confess several hoaxes that he carried out beginning in November 1975. Yes, that UFO incident, one of the best known UFO stories in the world, was a hoax. She goes on to say, that of course she was stunned in any case. Um, he wanted me to confess and apologize to the world for his hoaxes, because there was more than one, but we'll just stick with this one for now. And for all of his ties, or all of his lies, rather, right up until the very end of his life. He hoped that by telling the truth, could finally make things better somehow. I don't know if that's possible, but I promise to try. That was a quote from Michelle, daughter of Mike Rogers. Steve, that's a very powerful, statement, and it sounds like she really wants to honor Mike's, final wishes as to just get this all out in the open.
They closed her down, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what you were telling me. You said something about that. Yeah. Do you want to get into that?
I have nothing to do with that. I don't know nothing about the Phoenix Phoenix Lights. I think that's a bunch of bull anyway.
Right.
I wasn't there in the 90s. I was paying all these 6 women child support and trying to survive at the same time living in my truck. So I had other things on my mind. So I don't know nothing about that.
Right.
Never wanted to. Never interested in me.
Right. And I think that's kind of why I just, said, let's just stick with this particular one, because there was other hoaxes in there. People can read it, and decide for themselves, with the rest of it. But for him to come out and say that,
like I said before, I'd say the boys know the most.
Yeah, right. I would agree. Wow, and I really do hope that she follows through with that and kind of either makes a video of it, or maybe she could come out and do the podcast on here, and she can explain exactly more detail what Mike had to say about how and why all of this happened. But I do have to commend him though for coming out at the end and saying that this is what really happened, and his daughter for you know for kind of posting that too. I really do have to commend her for that.
They got me all blocked. Dana's blocked me. Mike's blocked me. And Mike blocked me from the dead. John Goulette blocked me. He blocked me from the dead.
Wow.
Travis has blocked me. Who's ever taken care of their Facebook is the one who blocked me.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
I'm sure John Goulette's wife is the one who blocked me, and I'm not sure who blocked me on Mike Rogers, because I don't know who has control of his Facebook, but I'm pretty sure I know who, John Goulette, his wife blocked me. She has control of his Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me and her didn't get along. I knew her before John did on my Facebook, and we just didn't get along. And then John started seeing her, and at the wedding, I was telling John, that was a sad wedding.
Yeah.
6 people showed up. Six people showed up. And
Wow.
I was the only one there that wasn't related to somebody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they had food for 100 people, man. That's how many people like her in that town, huh?
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, anyway, I was telling him um, what Mike has told me, you know, and he got really upset. You know, I'm not going to come out and say this in public, you know, because John didn't like Travis and he hated Mike. He
Yeah.
couldn't stand Mike, you know, and but he would not come out in public and say that, say anything bad about not about Mike, about Fire in the Sky, and Fire in the Sky itself.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's all very interesting that you know, you have this dynamic of all of you guys, and you know, for Mike to really pull one over on everybody, I mean, I got to give him credit. You know, he did a pretty good job because it took 30 years for this to come out.
That's because I came along and then it all
Right.
changed. So
Right. You start talking about it, and then we got that post, yeah, from Mike Rogers' daughter, kind of confirming everything that you've been trying to tell everybody for quite a long time now. And it's kind of weird too that, you know, Travis, in a way, with this whole thing being a hoax, you know, I guess he kind of hoaxed his way into an interview with Bob Lazar, you know, which is basically what happened. I mean, Bob Lazar doesn't know any better, but, you know,
I'm not saying anything about Bob Lazar. It
yeah.
has nothing to do with Fire in the Sky.
Right, right. It's just odd that Travis ended up meeting with him.
You can say anything you want.
Yeah, yeah, righto. And I know, Steve, I wanted to get into this too. I know you ended up going because you said you got into all of this, you know, because of your daughter too, and you were kind of just, you know, thrown into this whole thing. You know, whether it's a hoax or not, with the whole UFO
I
community.
got into it. I got into it because of my daughter. I
Right,
didn't stay
right.
in it because of my daughter.
Right, right.
I wasn't getting paid. I stayed in it for the sex.
Oh,
They treated us like rock stars, man.
right, right. Yeah.
I'm serious. They thought we were rock stars. I had this one woman tell us that Travis was a god and we're the chosen ones.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
baby,
said
that's
somebody
fine
said
with
that at a UFO conference, right? Yeah.
me.
Well, and that's why I want to get into, like, you've, you know, ended up going to Skinwalker Ranch, and tell me a little bit about that and what happened there.
Um, well, I knew about Skinwalker Ranch because I lived in Utah, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because of the papers and stuff before Bigelow owned it. And and then when I broke my neck, I met this guy. I don't know where he came from. I ain't never heard from him since. But he wanted me to go up there and start checking this out, right? So since I was home recovering, because from Provo to Roosevelt, it's only a couple hour ride, you know, you know. But anyway, so um, so I started going up there, and and then I got addicted to it like a drug, you know. And the first time I went up there, I kind of blew it because I went to the sheriff's department and asked them where it was at. And when we got over there was a guy waiting at the fence for us, you know.
Yeah.
And so we just backed up and took off and came back later. And then when we came back later, there was nobody there. And there's signs, no trespassing signs and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is when Bigelow owned it, you know. The first time was like 2011 or 2012 or something like that. And I jumped the fence on the Garcia side. I think it was Garcia, the ranch on the left. And I followed the fence line down, and there was a bunch of dead cows, a bunch of bones and stuff. And then when I was following the fence line down, there was a chicken there was a barbed wire fence that you could lay down for cattle to go through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So on this fence was a dead chicken. His head was up. It was up. It was the head was cut off. It was upside down. It was a white chicken, and there was no blood in it. No blood on the ground. No blood nowhere.
Wow.
So weird, huh?
Yeah, it is
I
weird.
used to have a picture of it, but you know how exes are. They throw away your stuff. But anyway, so that was the first time. And then my daughter was so scared she wouldn't go back. And then I started going a lot. I camped out there.
Oh, you did?
And, oh, yeah. I rented motels.
No kidding.
Around there. I spent the night there on UFO Hill. And I have some pictures that you can't really tell what it is because when they had these two pins, right? And they put the calf in there, and they waited at night for the creature to come out. And I got some good pictures, and you can't tell what it is. So I'm so far away, you can't tell what it is. But I've never really had them blown up. And then I got divorced. Well, before that. We were there, just me and the ex-wife, and they caught me on the property, and they chased us all the way. They chased us down the road.
Really?
And,
do you know who it was that chased you?
They chased us all the way from the ranch. They chased us all the way from the ranch to Roosevelt, the town of Roosevelt, right?
Do you know who it was that chased you, Steve?
No. But the ex-wife was supposed to have the camera going, and filming all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we get home, she said, "Oh, I forgot to turn it on. I thought it was on." Oh man, because she freaked out. You know, she thought this guy was gonna hurt her. You know,
in the moment, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And then, me and Sandy, when we got married, we went up there. I got pictures of her on Facebook, and I got caught again, and they chased me off. But I hadn't gone back since Sandy died. And he sold it anyway.
Right, they sold it.
Yeah, he sold it to Hollywood, and you know now if it's Hollywood, it's fake.
I know, that's it, and that's why I try to tell everybody. You know, it's like once it, you know, once it's in their hands, then you don't know what's, you know, real or false or fact or fiction. You know, that's.
I never saw a UFO there. I've never seen a portal. Because that's why I went there, was looking for a portal.
Right. I remember them saying that.
Yeah, I've been looking for a portal for a long time.
Well,
to me, the place is evil.
Yeah.
Okay? It has nothing to do with UFO.
Right.
Okay? You know the story of Skinwalker Ranch, right?
Everybody does, yeah.
Why? Because of the Indians and everything.
Yeah, you know? Right. And they sent a group of scientists there, you know, to observe it for a while. You know, but at the same time, you don't know what, you know, and there's not a lot that came out about it either. So you don't know, you haven't really heard a lot about Skinwalker Ranch lately either. So, you know, I'm kind of just thinking like, you know, what is, you know, real and what is, you know, fake there, because, you know, and especially nowadays, you know, everybody can hoax a lot of stuff with this AI and everything else. So you got to be really, really careful about what's going on.
I wouldn't believe anything now on film.
Right. Exactly. No, I hear you. I'm 100% with you on that. I wouldn't either. Yeah. So, yeah. Now I know that.
Then after Bigelow sold it and she died, I never went back.
Right. Yeah.
And when I first came out, everybody was saying, "Oh, Bigelow is the top guy in ufology," you know.
Yeah.
And then I guess 2020 shut him down. The COVID shut his business. His Air Force, his little NASA he had going.
Right. There is something else that I want to ask you too. I know that we had gotten into. I know you posted a few things on your Facebook about the polygraph tests. So we're gonna do a part 3 because of, you know, running out of time and all that stuff. But I know that you wanted to talk about how that polygraph test went.
Stay tuned for part 3, and you'll hear the whole thing.
Yep. Stay tuned for part 3. And Steve, I know you had posted something about this that you're gonna tell everybody exactly how Mike Rogers passed that polygraph test. Is that right?
Yes, in part 3.
In part 3? Good deal.
Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, the that's going to be really, really interesting. I cannot wait to hear that. I know a lot of people are going to be really anxious to hear that too. We got to a lot of really interesting and good things, that happened this week, and yeah. So, Steve, I guess we'll
How much time we got?
I think we got about another 5 or 6 minutes, and then yeah, then
Okay.
we'll have to go.
I need to say a few things.
Sure. Yeah. Go right ahead.
People keep talking about my criminal record, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When I was 13 or 14, my brother let me borrow his. Well, there was a new girl in town. And she was putting out, I guess. But anyway, nobody was at home, and he wanted to be alone with her, so he gave me his motorcycle. Well, I took off in the motorcycle. I wrecked it, and finally, when I saw the judge, he lied. My brother lied to the judge to save his own skin, and said I stole the motorcycle, and they took my license away until I was 18. Okay. And they made him get some kind of special insurance back then. I'm not sure what it was, but and then I stole my uncle's truck. Okay. They stole mine first. My grandpa, I had when we came back from Texas after this happened, when it first happened, we were living in Taylor after I got married, we was living in Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved back, we went to Texas. Then when we came back, it was like 70s. I don't know, it could have been 80. But anyway, it was a few years later down the road. And I had this old pickup truck, and I left it at my grandpa's house. And then I got a job in Utah, and I went up to Utah. When I came back down, my truck was gone, and he told me somebody stole it, right? So I believed him. He's your grandpa, right? And so a couple of months later, I was working for my uncle, and I went over there, and in his backyard, I seen my pickup. I said, I had a pickup just like that, And he looked at me and said, that is your pickup. Your grandpa sold it to me. And I said, he didn't have the right to sell you that,
Yeah.
So I went home. This was the 80s, and I was getting really high on coke and shit. And 80s coke was the best. Well, anyway, I had a bright idea. I knew he kept his keys in the ignition in his work truck. So I was mad, and I knew about the keys. I went over there and waited until his air conditioner came on. I started that truck up, and I took off.
Yeah.
I was headed to Snowflake. I was going to ram this pickup up my grandpa's ass,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But I ran out of gas on the way there. That's how they
Oh.
busted. And then when they caught me, my uncle wanted to get him for grand theft auto. They couldn't do that. You know why?
Why's that?
Because he left the key in the ignition.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So the only thing they could get me for is unlawful means of transportation, joyriding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
And then the judge wanted me to go on probation for 7 years and pay my uncle restitution. And I told the judge, I'm not doing this,
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, you are. I'm a judge. I'm going to tell you what to do, and you're going to do it.
Wow.
So he didn't know me, did he? So they released me. I never saw my probation officer. I got rearrested, seeing the judge for the second time. All right. Well, He told me, "You're going to do this. You're going to pay your uncle restitution." I said, "Well, this is a family fight, you know.
Yeah.
Well, two wrongs don't make a right. You know, I've heard that most of my life. Two wrongs
Right.
don't make a right, but it sure does make you feel better, don't it?"
We've all heard that a million times.
So,
Yeah.
so the third time, uh, uh, I didn't do what he told me, right? And the cops would come to the door, and so I wasn't at home when they came to the door. And
Hmm.
later, I came home and hey, the cops here are looking for you. So I got me some weed and put it in some balloons and swallowed a bunch of balloons and uh, gave myself up, right? Because I had a warrant out for
Mhm.
arrest. And so while I'm sitting in jail, I was getting stoned and everything. But anyway, um, uh, when I seen the judge looked at me. He says, "Ben, 3 times you're standing in front of me and you haven't done anything. You haven't done one thing I told you to do." He says, "I'm going to give you an ultimatum. Either you pay your uncle restitution, pay the in probation for 7 years. I'm going to give you a year in prison. What is your choice?" I said, "I'll take the year in prison." So I went to prison instead of paying him restitution.
Hmm.
Well, when I got out, we'll leave that for next time.
Yeah, we can leave that for next
Because I
time.
went twice. The next time is funny.
Well, and I think it's really important that, people understand that we all go through things and everything. And I know a lot of people, like you said, try to character assassinate you. Well, there's a rhyme and a reason for everything,
I piss some people off, but I've never committed a violent crime.
Yeah,
Never.
right. And you never seem that way either. You always just really nice and, just, yeah,
Hey, I'm polite to everybody.
you are.
No
Yeah,
matter who it
absolutely.
is, I'm polite to them.
Hmm. Right.
But if you step on me, I'm stepping back.
Right. Oh, yeah,
Like I had
100%.
After my dad died, right? Um, we were moving to Texas. I'm 15 years old. My mom, dad came and got us. We got all the stuff ready to move back to Texas, and I was with my uncle. I got an uncle that's a year younger than me,
Hmm.
and so he's 14 and I'm 15, and his dad bought him a brand new hat because when my dad died, my grandfather gave him everything, I guess, to make up for the guilt of my dad dying. I'm not
Right.
sure about that one, but anyway, but you know how parents are.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
he had a brand new cowboy hat on, right? And he tells me, he looks at me and he says, "You're never going to be able to buy you a cowboy hat again. Your dad is dead."
Wow.
Oh man, that just really tore me up, right?
I'm sure.
So that night, everybody's gone from his house, and he put his hat in a box. You know how real expensive hats come in a box. Doesn't come in a box.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Okay. I took the hat out of the box and put the box back in the shelf where it belonged, right?
Yeah.
And took the hat to Texas. I wore that hat out. But anyway, my grandparents wanted a picture of us, and so my mom said, "Hey, Grandma and Grandpa wants a picture," So I said, "Wait a minute, let me grab my hat,"
Hmm.
because I wanted Johnny. Ooh, I said his name. I don't care. What's he going to do? Sue me?
Yeah, right. I mean,
and I made sure I had the hat on so he could see it. Oh, he was pissed, man.
yeah.
Hey,
I'm sure.
You step on me, I'm going to step back.
Well, yeah, and I
know?
think that's way, I mean, everybody's that way. Nobody deserves to be stepped on, and if somebody does get stepped on, you're going to step back. So, I think people just really need to understand that, about you and about anybody, really. So it doesn't, people, I think, need to really kind of just need to chill out and take a step back and try to see things for what they are. A lot of people, they it's like, we weren't there, we don't know what happened, and but you try to just make the best decision possible and do what you feel in your heart is right.
But I haven't been in trouble since I left Arizona in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you told us this, Steve, because it really
Truck
helps.
driving stuff, that don't count. I've been in
Right.
truck driving jail.
Yeah.
You know how they put you in your little jail that's it's in
Yeah.
a bar. You just got to sit there until they send you money. You know.
I've heard about that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Steve.
'Cause all they want is the money anyway.
Right. Exactly. It's all a money game to them. It really is. I mean, you know, it's always been that way. It'll probably always be that way. Yeah. But yeah, Steve, this has been a really fascinating talk today. Thank you so much for, you know, everything that you've, you know, kind of just talked about today. And man, I can't wait to get into part 3. That's going to be really, really, we'll end it with a bang.
I promise you. I gave you my word. You already know the truth. So.
I do. Yep. I sure do.
All right.
All right, Steve.
Next week
We'll see if part 3. All right. You have a good one, buddy.
You too, bud. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Take care.
Static in the woods, the Heber Hawks blues. I've been carrying a heavy burden ever since that November night. Yeah, I've been carrying a heavy burden ever since that November night. 50 years of a Hollywood story, and none of it is sitting bright. They keep on calling me a liar, keep on throwing dirt on my name. Yeah, they keep on calling me a liar, keep on throwing dirt on my name. But the man who drove that logging truck, he finally stepped out of the game. You want a sci-fi movie, you can go and buy the book. You want a sci-fi movie, you can go and buy the book. But if you're coming at me with that static, kiss my ass and take another look. My phone won't stop, it's ringing, critics barking at my back. Yeah, my phone won't stop, it's ringing, critics barking at my back. They wanna live inside the legend, but I'm putting truth on the track. No more tall tales in the forest, no more carrying Mike's old ghost. You can keep your silver spaceship, 'cause the plain truth hurts the most. Yeah, kiss my ass, world, I'm done with this show.